So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi friends, I'm Prairie Vintage. My name is Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube, and I use spirits, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys, most fabulous viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. For those of you guys who are returning, I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful that you're here and that I have an opportunity to do your reading again today. So today's reading definitely is not for everybody. This will be a look at what you need to know in regards to your love journey. This could be a twin flame journey. This could be your special person, a high-level soulmate, whatever you want to call it. The label doesn't really matter so much, but if you are tuned into this frequency, I do refer to it as a twin flame journey, okay? Most likely, if you resonate with my love readings, you are probably on a very spiritual journey with a soulmate of sorts, okay? Although there's differences when we talk about twin flames and soulmates and all of that stuff, but to keep things simple, this will be a love reading, and if you resonate with it, great. If you don't resonate with it, then this is not your reading, okay? So it will be a pick an option, and for today's reading, I have some jewelry off my website, and there will be a promotion running till the end of March here, so I'm calling it the March Madness, and it is kind of like a spring sale for everything off my website, all jewelry and, of course, private readings. If you are interested in saving 35% off, enter code SUNSHINE35. That's SUNSHINE 35. And you can enter that at the checkout and save 35%. Like I said, all jewelry and all private readings. I'll put the information in the link below. And these are the three options, or the three piles we'll choose from for today. I'll hold them up shortly, but let's take a look at the decks I'll be using for today's reading. So I think I will be doing a Celtic cross, okay, but we will use just a couple of oracles. We're using the Mirror Oracle, Twin Flame and Soulmate Connection by the Simplistic Mystic. These are available on Etsy. And the Enneagram Oracle, I'll put a link as well to the deck reveals for these cards. Okay, this is the Enneagram Love Oracle. And then pile one will be using the Tarot of Oneness. For pile two, we'll be using the Rider-Waite-Smith Panorama Tarot for pile two. And for pile three, we'll be using the Lucid Minds Tarot for pile three. And I'll hold up this jewelry. So all jewelry is available at prairievintagejewelry.com. And this is just 3 items off my website. All right, so the first option here is the Thai Princess Harem Opal Ruby Ring. Okay, so I'll hold it up so you guys can see. All right. Option number 2. We have the blue enamel pave rhinestone parrot brooch. And for option number 3, this beautiful Art Deco early plastic colorful rope necklace. All right, so beautiful people. I think I will be doing an extended. And I think what I'll do is I'll make it available to the membership. And also I will post it on my website for purchase if you're not interested in the in joining the membership, okay, for a limited time. and I'll put the links and the information below. And for the extended, we will take a look at what's going to happen next. Okay, but first we're going to look at what you need to know. And if you resonate with that pile, then the extended will look at sort of what energy is going to be shifting, changing, or what will happen, what action will be taken, or energetic shift happening within that connection. Okay, so sit with these three piles, these three options, and I will see you guys at your pick. Hello, beautiful pile number one. You guys picked this beautiful ruby opal 10K gold ring, which will be available on prairievintagejewelry.com. Okay, and you can save 35% off entering code sunshine35. Okay, that runs till the end of March. It also includes 35% off all private readings. Everything off the site will be discounted till the end of March. Think of it as spring cleaning, March madness. Okay, so you guys chose this beautiful ring, and we're using the Tarot of Oneness. And like I said, I most likely will be doing an extended for these readings, which will be available through the membership through YouTube. And also, I do believe I will be posting it as a purchase outside of the membership if you're interested in just purchasing the extended reading, where we'll look at what's going to happen next. Okay, so for those of you guys who can't make it to the membership and would rather just do a one-time purchase, I will put the information below. So I will be doing a Celtic cross, and we're looking at what do you need to know about your twin flame connection, or your high-level soulmate connection, your spiritual connection with said person. Okay, I'll be doing a Celtic cross, and we'll be pulling from a couple of oracle cards as well. So sometimes Spirit wants to talk about your own energy, okay, and the person might not pull through. But remember that the journeys that we have in this lifetime are all about ourselves, and other people are catalysts. Okay, they're just catalysts in our world. And so this reading might have what you need to know about this person, might have what you need to know about yourself, might have what you need to know about the journey itself. Okay, I'm going to read it exactly as I see it. And if you don't resonate, then it's not your pile, it's not your reading, and you don't need to convince me or anyone else that you don't like this person or whatever. Okay, so let's take a look. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of the beautiful collective tapped into pile one. The person they came here about, the journey they're on, what do they need to know about this twin flame journey that they're on? So like I said, I'll be doing a Celtic cross, and then I'll be channeling rather than explaining to you guys what all these different positions are, okay? So hopefully you're familiar with this spread. Alrighty, so let's pull your oracle cards for beautiful pile one regarding their journey with their special person, the spiritual journey they're on. What do they need to know about this? I feel there's one more. About this person, about this journey. What is it that they're needing to know right here, right now, Spirit? Thank you so much for this message. Please protect me and the viewer and their connection as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of the collective tapped into this reading. I feel there's one more. Thank you so much, pile number one, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. Ooh, two more. All right. Give me some time to tap into its growth. Beautiful. Lots of earth energy coming through. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, hidden feelings. High Priestess, Pisces energy. We have nature, more earth energy, 19 and 1. Magician, okay, which is Virgo. Gemini, we also have 1, which is all about new beginnings. Okay, growth, new beginnings. Mountain, seaside, forest, desert, garden, and countryside. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. I'm feeling some Fool energy as well. some Aquarius, exploration. Okay, some Leo with the 19, which is sun energy. Okay, and then we have gluttony, 52 and 7. So a 9 of cups in a reverse here. Sin, ego level. It says intemperance, debauchery, avidity, bulimia, eagerness, and insatiability. Type 7 enthusiast, thinking centered between pleasure and pain with the number 7. Some Cancer energy. All right. Reverse temperance as well. So we have some Sagittarius here. And we have honesty, directness, integrity, probity, truth, loyalty, morality. 93 and 3. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. The solar plexus, and then more green. And green is the heart chakra. Okay, 43 and 7. So 77 is a master number. Spirituality and intellect. Personal growth, solitude, metaphysics, faith, wisdom, reflection, understanding. Okay, 7 is the chariot, which is all about success, working with the universe, balance, and having victory, okay, over challenges, overcoming challenges in a balanced way here. So journey, adventure, travel, trip, exodus, discovery, and migration. Very similar to this is kind of the Fool energy I was getting. Okay. But 77, is a master number. Trust the fall, an adventure that arises from deep wisdom, trust of life, trust of self. And this feels very independent sort of energy here. Strong Sagittarius and Earth. So, yes, let's take a look at what this is all about. We have the present moment. Beautiful. What's under the present moment? The 5 of Cups. 5 Cups can talk about regrets, remorse. Okay, it could be looking at what we don't have or what we've lost, as opposed to what still sort of remains here. And so we have 5 wands in the covering position with the wolves crossed by the 5 swords. Oh my goodness. We have 5 cups, 5 wands, 5 swords. All right. In the subconscious, we have the 8 of wands in reverse. I will be reading reversals here. Okay. And we have the 6 of wands in reverse. Interesting. And we have the hangman, which says perspective in reverse, Pisces energy. Okay. And then we have the ace, not the ace, the Knight of Pentacles in the crowning position here. That's Earth. And we have the 4 of Swords in the immediate position here. 4 of Swords in the reverse. Okay. MC Self. We have the Hierophant, Taurus energy. And we have the Lovers. And C's Environment, Gemini. Now this deck has both the masculine and feminine for the Lovers. This one happens to be the feminine. And it is in reverse. Okay. Gemini energy. Hopes and fears, we have the 6 of Cups in reverse. And the 10, not the 10, the 2 of Pentacles, which gives me 3 wands energy with these batons. Interesting. Yeah, we see the 2 Pentacles here in the background, 2 Pentacles clarifying the 6 of Cups. Okay, and then we have the Tower, and the Tower is in reverse as the outcome here, okay? Never to be taken literally, but it is energy that is sort of capturing the overall feel of this reading as well as the bottom of the deck, okay? So let me sit here with this energy and begin to channel what this is about for you beautiful people. This might take a little bit. Okay, it's a very simple message, okay? Now, I do feel like this could be talking about your person for sure, okay? But you could apply it to yourself, all right? Because it could be mirrored, meaning it could apply to you and your person, since this is a soul connection that I'm reading for here. And a lot of these connections sort of you and the person you're engaged with will have similar sort of energy signature of lessons, meaning, okay, maybe not the exact same lessons, but the overall theme of what we're learning. Okay, so just apply it to either you, your person, or the connection as a whole. I think I'll read it as your person or this person. I'll start off as this person so I don't confuse you, but it might get sort of channeled differently. So just sort of try to keep up here, okay? Like I mentioned, if you skipped ahead, there will be an extended or look at the next action happening in this connection, energetic shifts, whatever this person or this energy might do, might not do, whatever's going to happen in the connection, okay? And I will have that available as a purchase as well through the membership program. I think we'll do both ways for those of you guys who cannot join the membership, okay? And like I said, there is a discount, Sunshine 35. So you'll save 35% off every purchase from now till the end of March, okay? So this is an interesting energy that I'm tapped into here. It's really, we're looking at what you need to know about this connection. Okay, and what Spirit is really talking about is the why this connection sort of happened. And this person was really stuck in an energy of not allowing themselves to grow and move forward with their life. Okay, so they were either playing small or they were really sort of under an understanding that was given to them through being brought up. There's heavy emphasis here on either like social conditioning or family traditions, beliefs. Okay, and so it could be their own personal belief that they created as a coping mechanism based on how they were brought up. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're in line with the traditions of their family, although it could be. It could be that the way I was brought up, the traditions and the upbringing and the environment I had gave me an understanding of who I am and what I have to do and be. And whatever this understanding was, they could have been sitting on that understanding without questioning it, without pushing themselves to do more, be more, or just grow. So this life is all about the school of learning and growth, spiritual growth, and we can't stay stagnant. Okay, and so the universe will sort of catalyze us, and it catalyzes us to have spiritual growth. And one way to do this is to engage and experience in the 3D. That's why we come here on Earth, so that we can have lessons of life. We can't hide under a bushel or hide ourselves or just stay put. And especially if we commit to or attach to certain beliefs. This person has an upbringing and an experience that has really molded who this person is. And this connection is made this person have to have an internal sort of review about what they truly want and who they truly are, not who they were told, not who they were sort of programmed to be. Okay, and so I feel like this connection is really challenging for this person. There's a lot of internal challenge, and it's also reflecting in a external. So you and this person could have a lot of disagreements or just not really be able to make it work. There's a lot of not being able to make it work because this person needs to reconcile their internal world first, which is what? Which is, what is my truth? What is the honest truth? And letting go of any egoic story about what success would look like for them, because they might say, well, success to me looks like this type of a lifestyle, or having this kind of a relationship, or not having this type of a relationship, or so on and so forth. There seems to be a lot of rules and a set way to engage. Okay, but it's at the expense. It's at the expense of their integrity, like living with their integrity, which is the truth of who they are. And so I feel like this person, the more they sort of have their heart come online, because this is all about unconditional love, having our heart come online. And we can't suppress feelings. We can't lie or deny. We could try, we can run, we can avoid, and we can make all sorts of excuses. And so I feel like there's a lot of excuses and reasons why we cannot, or why they cannot. You know, I can't because this or that. And there's beliefs here also about maybe failing in the past, or in the past it didn't work, or a belief of myself of how I have to appear, or that I'm not projecting some form of image that in my mind tells me is the right way that I have to be or look in order to have success in connection, because this is about connection, in order to succeed and bring it through. And so this person is learning to trust themselves, okay, which obviously is seeing beyond their ego, connecting to their heart, and not suppressing their truth. And the only way for them to really do this is to sit with all of these sort of questions that might come up. Okay, but the more they're sort of lost in that world, the more challenge and struggle, because there's always resistance. And there's this, I feel there's an energy here of like not trusting in themselves. And so they cling to the old story of the past. And they believe that old story in the past is like true for them. But there's a greater truth that's trying to reveal itself to this person. And that would require them to see through the illusion of the ego and have confidence in themselves and shift their whole perspective of how they see things. Because I feel that this person is very fixed, very rigid, and very stuck. And I also feel like this person might have had a very difficult time with communicating their truth, what they want, and trusting themselves to make moves. And so they might not be someone who likes to take risks or explore outside. So they might be somebody who still didn't wander too far away from their comfort zone. So if they had a major loss, for some of you guys, I do feel it could be someone who has been married in the past, potentially. If not, then maybe someone who's very close with family, or who experienced something in the family home that has given them an identity. And it tells them what they're good at, what they're not good at, how they see themselves being successful, and what they should do and should not do, and what they would have success in and accomplishing. And so they do feel like this connection might require something from them that they believe they don't have, like having to maybe compete or produce something from within themselves in order to go after it. And so this connection is really pushing this person towards a shift in how they identify, see themselves, how they're attached to their identity or the egoic story, look through the programming and the beliefs that have been instilled in this person, or past experience that has this person sort of remaining stuck in one aspect. I do feel like this stuck aspect has been something that they experienced. Like I said, for all of you guys, it is something different, but it is coming through of the past. It definitely could be family related or in childhood, but it could also just be a significant relationship that's happened. Also, it could be observing a significant relationship, like a parental relationship that did not work. And so I feel like this person is shutting out this connection as a way to protect oneself. I feel this person has a difficult time allowing themselves to be vulnerable and to admit to themselves truths. So I do feel like this energy is going through an awakening of sorts. And this awakening would require them to, like I said, drop all understandings that are preconceived, that they're infusing into this connection, who they have to be and what they're about and all of that stuff. Because I feel like early on, okay, I'm not seeing sort of the timeline here. It's sort of giving me the overall of why this connection and what's happened. So you could be well on your way in this connection, or you could just be early on in this connection. I don't know where you're all at, but I do know that if you tapped into this pile and you do resonate with this sort of fixed energy and a lot of conflict and this sort of more energy of someone here who it just doesn't really make any sense as an outsider seeing this whole thing of someone who's so fixed on something, but clearly unhappy because it's at the expense of enjoying and filling their heart with something that they say they have true deep feelings for, or that they could engage with here. Okay, so there's this awakening, like I talk about, which is really learning how to be in the present moment, which is very scary because this person would cling to the control. Because if we're in the present moment saying and doing what we feel is true, we have to reveal ourselves. And so I do feel like this person, okay, like has deep feelings that they're not expressing, and they, for some time, especially at the beginning, they might not even admit it to themselves. Okay, and if they do finally sort of understand these feelings, I feel like this person might not be in a position to communicate openly and vulnerably. So this might take some time. And I do feel like this person is sort of watching this connection in some way. So even if they seem like they're not saying what they want, or they're not admitting anything and they're not revealing, it's like, well, why is this person then around? Because I feel like this person is either watching you, coming around in your world, okay, and if you're not quite sure, I do feel like it's someone who might even have fake accounts in some way if they're not sort of in your world, okay? Or it could just be somebody who is remaining in friend zone in some way, or in your world in some way, and it's not progressing. Okay, now I also feel like for this group, depending where you are, I feel like this person will have to experience a sort of a missing out, okay, because sometimes we must sort of go through a period of experience, suffering, loss, and all of that stuff. Now, we don't have to, but usually when we go through that, it reveals something to us. And so I do feel like if you are in a separation with this person, or have reached a point where it's sort of at the point where this person is going to have to trust in themselves to step forward, then this person will have to give into the main lesson here. This is really about the main lesson of this connection, which is being in the present moment without infusing any of the past conditioning, beliefs and programs and attachments, and the need for control in order to protect oneself, in order to reveal their truth, which is their heart opening. I do feel like this is a connection that's going to grow very slowly and could be very, very fruitful. And I think it could produce. Obviously, there would require a lot of patience and a lot of maintenance. And so if you're not wanting to maintain anything here, then you can go do whatever you want to do. Okay, but the lesson here, spiritual lesson, would be patience, unconditional love, and being in the present moment to what is. And so if we're on the other side of this person, then that person is learning about being in the present moment. How do I love without conditions? How do I accept this person as they are? And this doesn't mean I have to accept being in a relationship that is secret or hidden, or someone who doesn't communicate, or who won't do this and won't do that. No, this isn't about settling in that way. This is about what is true love look like. And true love does not, when I say true love, okay, love without any conditions, not transactional love, not fear-based love, not love that like 99% of the people experience, which is, what can you do for me? How can you make me happy? I give you that, you give me this, and you must be like this and like that. Okay? Because love does not do that. Love accepts. And this is all about accepting what is. And that's difficult because there might be a need to control as well. And so there's preconceived understandings of what a relationship should do for me and should look like, again. And I do feel it's from both sides. And so learning how to accept what is in the present moment without trying to change, control, contort, okay, which is this conflict. And so we do go through a period of not coming together and feeling without. And so when we go through a period of feeling without, we're buying the illusion that we're not connected to the divine, all that is, that we're lacking. And it's like, I'm lacking, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that. And so there might feel like we're separate from this person, and we're alone, and we're on our own, and this person is cold, and they're not giving to me, and all of that stuff, which is ego-based. It's not working, and all of that stuff. And so how do we move beyond this feeling? Because this is a true feeling we can have, is seeing the illusion that we're not separate. And so this is why this is very spiritual, because when we have an awakening of sorts, we see beyond the illusion that there is no separation, and that we can have unconditional love for other, and that beyond the form of what's happening and what they're doing, not doing, true love is behind this thing, accepting what is, not trying to force it to be different. And so it challenges our viewpoint of love challenges our viewpoint of how we engage. Okay, and so once we're sort of shifting and seeing through the illusion of separation and lack, we can then create something in the 3D, because this connection is meant to create something in the 3D and to move forward at some point in time. But I do feel like there's a long period of time in this connection where we're upholding the stories and the stuff that actually Spirit is saying must fall away. So I feel this is very divine. Okay, we have major arcana, major arcana, major arcana, major arcana, major arcana coming through, because the universe said it is time for both these souls to learn about allowing what is false to fall, like illusions and beliefs and programs that keep this person not growing spiritually. And so what is growth spiritually is connecting to the divine, understanding that there is no lack and separation. And that unconditional love comes from the heart, and it doesn't try to change or force, and it trusts the universe to flow and navigate through without trying to control and attach to outcome. And so there's this fool energy that comes here. Okay, and to be a fool is scary when we want control or when we're trying to have force outcome. But really, Spirit is saying this is a journey about trusting the divine, trusting ourselves. And like I said, 77 is a master number, which is trust the fall. Okay, so we're sort of thrown or thrust into this experience to trust the fall, an adventure that arises from deep wisdom, trust of life and trust of self. And so what is wisdom here? Wisdom isn't what we know intellectually, okay, conceptually. Wisdom is through an experience. I have a greater, deeper sense of wisdom that comes through with the high priestess here, of what my heart is telling me, and maybe my mind is still sort of stuck in one understanding. And so we have the mind, and we have the heart, and we have everything that's going on sort of in the spiritual realms and the 5D, and then we have the 3D. And how do we find a reconciliation between all of this stuff? So we have to see the honest truth about who we are. We have to see beyond the ego, okay, and see beyond our pride and our need to sort of have control and the illusion of who I'm supposed to be and what it means in the 3D world that's transactional, so that I can actually have an experience here that's going to grow me spiritually. And so I do feel like back to the first energy I was reading, there does seem to be a point in which this person is going to have to make a decision, okay, to choose themselves, essentially, which would be to choose this connection, because this connection makes them happy, in order to have real growth, which is uncomfortable for this person. And so they have to challenge maybe their old family structures, or let go of some sort of past experience or childhood trauma, okay, or just an experience of the past with a relationship or childhood or whatever, like I said, in order for them to get grounded in what they need to do. And so I feel like this connection is very healing for this person. And there has to be, like I said, an acceptance of whatever doesn't serve them at this point in time, to let it sort of go and fall. And so they could have built a world around them, you know, and this could also apply to you if you're on the other side of this, a world around them that's like all they've known for some time. And so there's a lot of fear in sort of admitting that this no longer does it for me. And what will be left if I detach from this thing and move in a new direction and I don't know where I'm going? So there's a lot of blindness when it comes to where would this go? How would it go? Lots of questions. Okay, and so when we have lots of questions, it's like we don't really trust the blind when we have what we sort of see, even if it doesn't make us happy here, because I feel like this person isn't fulfilled. And it's like this person wants a sort of a guarantee that they would have a success and that they'd know sort of where it goes, but then that defeats the purpose of trusting the universe and trusting themselves and building a confidence and not creating an identity that they think that they have to be in order to be successful. And so there's a lot of intuition guiding, I think, on both sides here. So there's an awakening of the intuition. There's not denying or suppressing feelings that come online that might be unfamiliar or very uncomfortable to this person, because they'd have to do something with this. Okay, they can just sit with those feelings and ignore them. They have to take the truth take these feelings and act upon these feelings at some point in time when they're sort of ready. And I feel like I said, it might take some form of loss. It might take some form of a major sort of shift here, you know, because I do feel like there's a lot of stuckness for some time, and there's a lot of resistance and a lot of trying to what's it called, reinforce their decision making so that they can feel confident in the decisions that they are making, which aren't aligned. It's like they want to support their lack of movement forward and why they need to sort of stay put where they are. Yeah, so I do feel it's slow growth. I also feel like this person might, because of the fact that there is this like sacrificing of what would make their heart happy, they might spend a lot of time like fulfilling themselves in sort of more superficial ways, which doesn't quite make a whole lot of sense if you're the other person here. Because it could be somebody who is sort of still acting like they need to maybe grow up, or is still like wounded by something that was happened a long time ago, or like it's time to move on, you know, or like, I don't know, because the gluttony here, it could be somebody who's a little hedonistic too, you know, or who could fill that void, because there's definitely a void here with the drinking or the partying or the sex, drugs, rock and roll, or just being immature or doing something. It doesn't have to be unhealthy so much. Well, it's unhealthy if we're stuck in some way because it doesn't allow for movement. Okay, but it doesn't have to be like a toxic sort of drinking, drugs, sex, and rock and roll. But it could be, because it could be that this person fills it with you know, like just partying, or like a lot of empty relationships or friendships, or like dead end things here, dead end jobs. Maybe it's like really like they're really stuck to a routine so much so that it's like overdoing whatever they're overdoing. And I do feel like it doesn't scratch the itch for this person no more. And it could have in the past, because I do feel like this person was fulfilling themselves in some way, okay, thinking that that was enough, or that was the be-all end-all, until his connections sort of push this person outside of their comfort zone in order for them to be able to move in a direction of new growth, new change, okay? But I feel like even slow growth here for this person is very like is a lot already, you know. They might feel it's spontaneous or like too big, and so I do feel like this person moves very slowly, and that the changes in this connection might not happen very fast. It's very slow over time. Yeah, and they're really being called to explore outside of their comfort zone at the end of the day. So I do feel it's very destined. I feel like this person has to connect to their divine feminine energy, which is learning how to give love, receive love, and recognize it within, and not get in the way of it and try to control and resist it, so that love can come in and that they can express love and flow with love in and out. Okay, and like I said, the only way to do it is to recognize what's in the present moment and accept it without resistance or trying to change it or trying to make it into what it's not. So this is what I have here for this reading, and I did say the signs during the card layouts, but I'll say it again in case you guys didn't sit through that. We have Taurus, we have Libra, we have Cancer, and we have Virgo, Gemini, heavy Earth, okay, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, and I was feeling some Sagittarius energy as well through here, and some Pisces. Okay, yeah, so there's another thing coming with the wolves here, because wolves, again, are very independent, you know, like to sort of go it alone, but the wolf pack here, like very family oriented, and I was feeling it from the 6 cups. And so I don't know, it could be like my bros or my family, or I got to do this for the family or for this thing. It's like there's some sort of virtuous, I don't know, like energy, like I'm doing this ethically, or I have to do this thing, you know, and commit myself and maybe even martyr myself in some way. But it's like this person's independence is sort of still programmed. And it's like Yeah, it's like intertwined with other, like like I said, an experience of the past, or like something that's not necessarily in line with their authentic truth and what they want, which I do feel, like I said, is this connection. And so there is guidance coming through here for you, because I do feel like the more you try, okay, now you can do whatever you want, because no tarot reader or tarot is going to tell you what to do, okay, but the more you infuse into this person change, a need for them to do this or be like that or see the light, that's not going to work. And the more we sort of believe in lack, separation, and what they're not doing for me, and you believe in that story, the more pain and arguments and disconnect we have here. Because what we need to overcome, the big lesson here, and what you need to know, is that there is no separation, there is no lack. And you could say, well, they're not here giving me this, that, and the other. And so there's a strong belief in that. And that's what you are seeking and need, you already have within. And so you're being called to connect to that within, which is the divine, okay, which is your heart space here, unconditional love. And when you connect to the divine and unconditional love and see beyond the illusion of separation and lack, and feel whole and complete within yourself, because this is the journey, and learn to let love flow, give and receive love without conditions and fear, and be in the present moment with acceptance. And then we've learned the lessons. And so we can't force it, because I do feel it's slow and steady and it needs nurturing. So we can't lie to ourselves, and we can't say, well, this is how I have to be, so I'm going to do that, because that's not how we are right now. So we have to undo beliefs. We can't just put a belief on top of an old belief. And so if we believe in lack, we can't say, oh, I'm going to believe in the infinite, but there's nothing lacking. It's like, well, why do I believe in lack? How am I believing in separation? What was told to me? What can I undo here? There's still an undoing of beliefs, okay? And really it is that we're lacking, that this person needs to be giving, or that I'm without. You're not without. No matter how much you feel you're without. Now, this doesn't mean you don't feel that way. You certainly feel that way, or at some point, because there's something this person should do, can do, needed to do, didn't do. Okay, and that's not true, because no one needs to do anything, and you're not lacking, and there is no separation. And so we have to dig into that. Okay, that story, that conditioning, and that most people carry, because we perceive and project onto the world what's going on within. And so we need to go within and undo beliefs that are not true, and see things completely different, that we're already whole, we're already complete. There's nothing no one can give to you to complete you, or to make you feel any sort of way. You can make yourself feel whole and complete, and you're already valuable, regardless if someone's showing you that you're valuable or not. Because especially if somebody is traumatized and they can't express themselves or move forward, we would always feel like we're not valuable enough, or that we're not worthy enough, or that this person isn't doing something for us. But that has nothing to do with us. Again, that's the ego who wants to make it about the self. Okay, the I. This isn't about self. Everybody has their own sort of experience. And so this person has an experience that's made them this way. It has nothing to do with you. And so there is no lack here. There is somebody who is working through their inability to trust themselves, their confidence to move forward, to make different decisions, to challenge themselves when it comes to what they believe about love, or how they can perform. It's a performance here that they think that they need to do or be. And once they let that go, that story, and just be and engage, and the more they'll feel comfortable in this energy. Okay, so this is one about, I think, over time of engagement. And we make it very tired, because we keep butting heads, and it's like, I'm too tired to engage with this person. There's resistance, there's fighting, there's arguments. They don't agree with me. They don't give me what I need and what I want. And as long as we're in that energy, we'll keep resisting and fighting, and it's tiring. It never goes away, because we're still trying to infuse it with the same understanding. And so because you're here, you have the ability to undo that understanding, because this is maintenance in a way here that allows things to flourish. And what we've tried might have not have allowed things to flourish. So what's going to let it flourish is being in the present moment with acceptance for what is, and allowing the journey to go without attaching to control or outcome. and not having beliefs of separation and scarcity and lack and transactional needs that this person should do or needs to do for me, or this is right and this is wrong. Okay, so we will go into the extended and we're going to see what's going to happen next in this connection. I hope you guys can join me. And like I said, I will put the links below if you're wanting to purchase the extended. Remember, there is the code Sunshine35, save 35% off, or book your private reading, or all jewelry at prairievintagejewelry.com and save 35% off till the end of March. All right. I love you guys very much, and I will see you at the next one. All right. Bye-bye. Hello, beautiful angel. Pile number 2. You guys pick this beautiful enameled parrot brooch with the beautiful rhinestones for your pick. And like I mentioned in the intro, I will be having a sale off prairievintagejewelry.com where you'll save 35% off all jewelry and private readings, including these pieces here. I'll put the information below. Okay, if you enter in Sunshine35 from now till the end of March, that's SUNSHINE 35, save 35% off till the end of March on all jewelry and private readings. So for this reading, we will be taking a look at we'll be using the Rider-Waite-Smith Panorama Tarot for your reading. We'll be looking at this soul connection, or should we put it? Let's put it right there. The soul connection, okay? I'll call it a twin flame journey, but you can call it whatever, high-level soulmate, spiritual connection, whatever this is here, okay? I'm going to read to you what you need to know about this journey, and sometimes it's just about ourselves, okay? But hopefully we can dive into the person or the journey at hand here so that we know. But as we know, journeys, spiritual journeys are all about the self and self-growth. Okay, so I don't know how this is going to come out, but if you do resonate with this sort of being your journey with your person, then we'll be doing an extended, and I do feel I will be offering it through the membership, but also for those of you guys who aren't wanting to join the membership, for a limited time purchase off my website, which I'll include below, and that will be what will happen next. Okay, like energetically what will happen next in this journey or this connection between you and this person. So let's ask Spirit for a clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2. And what they need to know about this twin flame journey or this spiritual connection. What do they need to know? Clear and concise message. I will be doing a Celtic cross, and since these are panorama, I will be laying them sort of in the horizontal position. And I do feel I will be reading reversals as well, okay? So, Spirit, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2. Please protect me and the viewer in this connection as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2 and their person. What do they need to know? So lay all the cards out. See self, tease environment, hopes and fears, outcome, outcome, never to be taken literally, okay, and can shift, and then of course the bottom of the deck, which will read like that. And let's pull some of your oracle cards as well. What is it that pile number 2 needs to know about this journey, the person they came here about? Their spiritual journey, clear and concise message for pile number 2. Oopsie. Oh, there's one more. Another one. All right. And this oracle as well. Spirit, please help me to channel this message in a way that pile 2 will understand. For the greatest and highest good of this connection, what is it that pile 2 is needing to know about this connection or this journey between them and the person they came here about? All right. Okay. Let's see what we have. We have fated connection, and we see family here. Beautiful. We see mixed messages. Okay, and then we see growth. This came out for pile number 1. If you were called, there might be a tie. We'll see though, okay? And then we have 21 and 3 with place and activity, ego level, work, corporation, company, office, trading, industry, professional meeting. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearing and authenticity, the solar plexus. And then we have 71 and 8, relationship trap, stress level, passion, intense fascination, ardent affectivity, impetuosity, exaltation, get carried away, irresistible attraction. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness, with the shadow aspect here. All right, so there's some Taurus, Libra, and some Leo and Aquarius energy pulling through, and some Earth. Okay, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn here. And then we have more Taurus, Libra with 48 and 3. Sin, ego level, lie, manipulation, cunning, secret, deceit, trickery, and posture. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. And more solar plexus here. Lots of ego, 75 and 3, more 3. So we have 333, could be an angel number you're seeing. But 33 is a master number, which is reproduction, creativity, humor, Christ consciousness, joy, and harmony. 3 is all about growth, relationships, initial success, divine Empress energy. Okay, looks at Taurus, Libra. It's also Pisces energy. So hangman, and we're also getting world, which is concluding a cycle of sorts here. So bad news, unpleasant information, malicious post, nasty notice, unkind letter, unfavorable opinion, painful announcement. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearance and authenticity. Wowzers. Okie dokie. Let's see what's going on with the tarot here. Bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Cups. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Under that, we have the 9 of Pentacles. It's the mini Empress. Lots of divine Empress energy coming through here. Okay, covering card, we have the King of Pentacles. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Crossing card, we have the Empress. My goodness. So it is crossing. Okay. Taurus, Libra energy. In the subconscious, we have 4 wands. That's this faded connection energy. Okay, this is my 1111 twin flame energy. Interesting. And then in the passing position here, we have the 5 wands. And we have the 10 of wands in the reverse. And the crowning. Okay, immediately before, we have the high priestess in the reverse, Pisces energy. And is clarified by the 9 of wands. Interesting. See self, we have 8 swords. See the environment, we have 5 pentacle and 10 swords. Okay, and then we have the world, which we were really sensing from the number 3s that we were seeing everywhere. Got to cover that up. Okay, world in reverse. And this is hopes and fears. Outcome. Judgment. And the 2 of Cups. Wow. Faded connection. All right. So, wow. Let me sit here with this energy before I begin to channel, okay? Okay, pile number 2. Interesting energy here for this group. If you skipped the card layout, let me get some signs for you guys. Okay, we have a lot of 3 energy here, which is divine Empress energy. Okay, so Taurus, Libra energy. And some Pisces and some Leo, Aquarius, and Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces for this reading. Okay, So like I mentioned in pile 1, and I'll mention it here as well, because we're looking at the the spiritual connection. Okay, like I said, I'm calling it twin flame, but it could be just like a high level soulmate. It could be just the spiritual connection you're experiencing with other. Okay, whatever you call it, doesn't really matter so much. I might call it a twin flame journey because that's what I call it, but whatever this is talking about the journey as a whole. So this could be your person's energy, your energy, or the journey. Okay, it's up to you to apply the energy, and I'll try to do my best to see however many energies do come through here. Okay, and I'm going to read it as this person. It could very well be your energy. Okay, but I do feel it is someone that you're dealing with here. Okay, but it could be you for sure. So this journey that you're on with this person is very, very much divine. Okay, there's a fated connection happening here. And when we are on a path of an experience, Spirit is bringing to your attention an understanding. This person, okay, because I'm only going to read into one person here for now, but I do sense your energy if you're the other person too. But anyway, there is this purpose to this whole thing. And this purpose is to surrender and to accept the love into this person's heart. Okay, so that they're able to show up for another, and that they are capable of giving and receiving love, that they're worthy of giving and receiving love, that their value does not come from material things or what they can produce. Okay, and so I feel like, I'll read it this way, your person, it does feel to me like it's somebody here who is really focused on building a material world. So they could be very work focused, okay, like building something up. They could already have something built up. They could have a family structure already, okay. For some of you guys, they could already be married, or this person could just be really focused on the material aspect of their world, regardless if they're married or not married here, to the expense of allowing themselves to open up to their heart and experience unconditional love and relationship. And I do feel like this person is somebody here who might have a understanding about what would happen if they were to open themselves up. Okay, and this understanding that they have keeps them sort of trying to cling to or attach to the version of them that they feel would create a future for themselves that they think is where they need to be or what they need to do. And this connection is challenging this person. And so the more intense this person feels, the more pulled, which this person is very pulled to this connection, they feel, the more they're having to question their old paradigm or understanding. And so this is one about coming out of the material world or the 3D world in order to trust feelings and the 5D. Because I do feel like this is somebody here who, if they don't see it, or the 5 senses, it doesn't exist. And so this is somebody who refuses to listen to their intuition. This is somebody here who is very sort of blinded by the material world of what they've already created, or just have been lost in that. So it's given them a sense of something. And so this could even be somebody here who could engage in relationship physically, but it's not deep enough, because this person needs to learn about vulnerability and like allowing themselves to be vulnerable, to flow, to give love and receive it. And so if you do have interactions with this person, which I feel for some of you guys you have, that seems very superficial, it seems very surface, it seems almost like this person is maybe not caring about you or your feelings, and it's like all they really care about is like, you know, like creating their own world, but it's like at the expense of, maybe you might even feel used for some of you guys. Like this person just wants to come around to physically experience me or get a feeding from this connection without investing in a way here, like emotionally investing or opening up and getting deep. And so I feel like the other energy, which I do feel is your energy, okay, but like it could be flipped, seems very caring, very compassionate, and very much confident, available, secure. It's like, if this is your energy, you've created a world that is independent, that is sustainable, that is confident. And so there's this beautiful energy that you give off that this person could certainly feed off of, compassionate and love and caring and giving and kind and intuitive. Because I do feel like there's something very spiritually connected to your energy, very intuitive, very watery. And this person seems a little bit rigid and fixed in the material world. And so you have a good balance is what it shows here. And so this is why this connection was sort of brought together. It's like your balance, you're tied to the spiritual realm, your ability to make it in the 3D, but also connect it to heart space and intuition and the spiritual in a healthy way is something this person is needing to learn to do. And so this is why this has been sort of brought together. And what you're needing to know is like, this person has been having a very difficult time accepting other aspects that are trying to come to this person. And so I do feel like spirit will turn on the dial of the synchronicities and the intuition until this person surrenders. And this person is kind of avoiding that world. It's like the spiritual realm scares me, emotions scare me, vulnerability scares me. I say scare, whatever. I'm protecting myself from that, in which I don't understand. And it could be because this will make me question everything that I've ever known in some way. And so I want to hang on to the world that I already know that is sort of true in the 5 senses, like I said. And so if there's another realm or another world here that I'm not comfortable in or that I don't understand, then I sort of keep it out. And so you represent this other world that I'm sort of keeping out here. Okay, but you sense from this person, because I do feel you're very intuitive here, you're sensing from this person, it's like this person could experience love and a union and a balance here, and also the 3D world in a healthy, balanced way if they were open to it. But there's resistance, and there's maybe even like just blocking you out and keeping you a space between you and this experience. It's like, when will this person want to ever go deeper or allow themselves to feel deeper or let their emotions really sort of flow here without putting their brakes on? Because it does feel like their brakes are on. And it's like this person has limiting understandings of what this position that they're in, what they can and cannot do. And I do feel like this person sort of attaches to some sort of understanding that there is a part of their world that would have to sort of come to an end, that would leave them in a place of starting over or lack or without the material thing. If they do open up to this new side, this watery side or the spiritual side or this vulnerability, and this connection is really all about this person sort of closing the chapter of what they've already experienced. So they could be somebody, like I said, who's already sort of experienced a material cap at some level, okay, or the ceiling in which they've already sort of reached some sort of position in the material world, in the 3D. Maybe they've already got married, had kids, and live this, but they've never really experienced the soulful, spiritual, deeper emotions of vulnerability. Okay. And if they haven't, then it's like they've been very focused on work, where it's like there's only so far we can invest in the material realms of success. Only so many cars, houses, boats, and things, shoes and suits, whatever. It's like now, spiritually, this person's being called to experience something that is very spiritual. And if I don't understand it, and because I can't use my senses to understand it, then I just sort of keep the distance at it, because there's a fear here that it's like we have to give one in order to have another here, and that this person would be, I don't know, like lacking, It's like I'd have to move. I'd have to let go of this. I couldn't build this thing anymore. It's like a misunderstanding here of just lack. And so it's very painful, because when we believe it's to be real, it's like I'd have to experience this pain and this withoutness and this suffering and all of this stuff if I went down this path. But this is the lesson here, is like actually learning the truth. The truth is that this person can find a healthy balance and can show up emotionally and give of their emotions and their love. And I feel like this person can reach your level. Okay, I don't know that they're there just yet, or where you're at in this journey, or where this person is sort of at, because we're all in different places in this journey. But it's like at some point, this person is to see the truth, that they can be at the level of you when it comes to intuition and feelings, and still maintain their material world in a healthy way here when they see the truth. And so this is learned through experience. Okay, but I feel like the mixed messages is really like, inside this person, you feel the truth, because there is a truth. This person is connected to the divine. This person is resisting the messages and the directions and the synchronicities and the signs in order for them to show up. And so you sense this thing. And so this person is refusing to accept this, surrender and part with something, and close the chapter to something to allow there to be growth. Okay, but Spirit is talking about there being inevitable growth once this person actually sees the truth. And that, yes, this person is really pulled by this connection, and that's why it feels very intense here. It's very intense. I'm feeling doubly energy, because if it wasn't as intense, then this person would just continue sort of feeding that material beast. And so it's utilizing, Spirit is utilizing this connection and this passion and this desire and this strong pull and this draw to you, which is very faded, in order for this person to see through their own egoic lie to themselves, or the material understanding of beliefs that they do have. And so I do feel for some of you guys, because you guys might resonate with this, not all of you guys, but a lot of you guys, either this person ran, ghosted, used you in a physical way, and then never came back, or is choosing some other thing here, family or work or whatever, in the material, and they seem very superficial or cowardly to you, or they have at one point. Okay, so now what Spirit is talking about, because we're all at different places here, and I said you're very compassionate, giving, kind, intuitive, and available, and sort of set in your way. This is your lesson if you're not there already, because these connections are very mirrored. And so if we're bitter, if we're projecting, if we're casting judgment on this person, if we're thinking that they owe us something, if we're doing any of that, our lesson here is to learn unconditional love and learn how to stand on our own nine pentacle without this person having to give to me what I think they owe me or what they should do, because that's a should or shouldn't, and that's all in the 8 swords. There's no shoulds, there's no shouldn'ts. There's just connecting to my divine nature, connecting to my intuition, filling my own cup, and being available to give a cup to whomever is going to be able to flow with me without judgment or projection or a need for transactional love. And so this whole lesson is about seeing the great truth of the divine shown to us, seen through the illusion and the big lie of the ego. And so I feel like you might have experienced a disappointment with this person, and Spirit saying, what did we do with this disappointment? What did we do when this person ghosted? What did we do when this person didn't show up? What did we do when this person sort of used me for sex, or if it was physical, or just seemed to be someone here who wasn't choosing me? Okay. And so I feel like there is this need to really sort of sit with one's own energy in order to connect to that which is divine, in order to understand that this person is working through challenge and is needing to surrender. So this whole connection is about surrendering to a greater truth, learning about unconditional love, and showing up with a cup. And when we show up with a cup with an open heart, the universe has to deliver on the other side an open heart without conditions and preconceived beliefs and all of this stuff. There is no lack. And so I do feel like you might have experienced a disappointment here with this person, you know? And it's like, was it just physical? And why this intense energy? And like I said, the intensity here is because this is a fated lesson, one in which we're having to learn unconditional love, and one in which we're having to surrender, one in which we're having to learn the value of ourselves, connect to our own intuition, connect to spirit, see our own value, fill our own cup, stand on our own, learn our own confidence, be available, and not create stories or create unavailability because we're creating some sort of story that we're attached to with the ego, that this, projecting that this person's this or that or something else. So I do feel like this connection is something that will take a lot of sort of effort to get to an understanding. It does need a lot of maintenance within self in order for oneself to be healthy, to learn how to healthily be available to give love. And I do feel like if this person was showing one thing in the 3D with the mixed messages of running, avoiding, whatever, ghosting, it's not their truth, and you might already sense that it's not their truth. And so we can't force this person to do anything other than to see it through themselves. But what we can do is work on our own sort of ability to fill our own cup. And I feel like this is what we're really having to do in order to find closure. And so if you didn't get closure yet, Spirit is encouraging you to find your own closure. This person is not going to find that closure for you. And this is part of the healing. It's like, how do I reconcile what has happened? And truly like sit with that energy and feel at peace and healed with it, with an open heart, not with a resistant heart, not with a blocking heart. That's the surrender. The surrender is I'm balanced. I'm perfectly balanced. I'm not leaning one way or another. And it's coming from a pure, authentic place. Okay, because when we reach that state of balance and authenticity, we've seen beyond the ego. We've seen beyond the superficial sort of attachment to pain story and limiting beliefs and what they did and what they didn't do. And this is what we need to find closure with in order to see the truth, because the truth of this connection, what you're needing to hear, and the truth is the truth is the truth, whether you see it, understand it, taste it, feel it, doesn't matter. The truth is the truth. That balance between two, a true union, has to come from an open heart, not from preconceived ideas or understandings that have been fed to us or beliefs. And we can't resist and fight and argue. We have to truly surrender to the divine. And there is listening to the intuition, because the intuition leads to the heart space, which is the message from Spirit through the heart, because that's where we get the messages from Spirit. Okay, the heart doesn't lie, it's the mind. And then when we sort of feed it into the mind story and the limiting thoughts, that we start to distort it. And the fear gets loud, and then we don't know, is it intuition? Is it the fear? And then we start to make stories and run on that. And then we start to create the tension, and we start to create the opposite of what we want. Because I do feel there's something about coming together here openly and being available, regardless if this person is showing up, not showing up. It doesn't matter here so much. It's an open heart that we're learning about self so that we can let love in. And if it's not this person, it's definitely another, because we all have free will to do this choice. Okay. So I do feel, I forget what I was going to say, but I do feel it is one, like I said, a lesson of surrender here and acceptance. And regardless if this person is resisting or what this person has done or hasn't done, there is no need to create any sort of more resistance here. Okay. And so all you can do is really nurture yourself. And I don't feel it is by avoiding or creating any sort of tension with this person by hanging on to what it was that they did do as something bad or not good or not in line with what it is. It's like whatever they created that wasn't in line with the truth was a way that they knew how to cope. And now there's a need for you to sort of cope with creating closure. I do feel for some of you guys, it could be that this person had a third party. Not for all, but it does come through here. And it could be that this person was needing to sort of release themselves from that. And maybe they promised they would, or that they could and they didn't. I just feel this person could have definitely let you down. And it's like, what do we do with this thing? Because this is really pushing ourselves to have an open heart here. And we have to sort of be really honest with ourselves and see why we're holding on to anything other than love. And yeah, now I know what I was going to say. I'm not seeing any green, like obviously this growth here is green, but green as in with these Enneagram love oracles, I'm not seeing any green. I'm seeing a lot of this yellow, which is ego, and the shadow, okay, the Pluto energy. And so what I really feel here, and I feel it's mirrored, there's a lot of this having to overcome the egoic story. What was said, what was done, actions, experience, because that means we're really in the 3D and we're not in the higher dimension of 5D, seeing beyond what's happening in the 3D. And just because we don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but this doesn't mean in delusion either. This means form happens, transactions happen, but that's just a fraction of the whole. And so there is true love. There is a fated connection. There is something greater here. There's the heart coming online. There is the spiritual. All of this exists. Okay, but then there's what they did. And if we have our nose to the grindstone, seeing what they did, what they didn't do, what they lied about, we're not ascending, because this is about ascending and growth. So how do we ascend spiritually? We have to get out of the 3D. This does not mean in the 3D you have to do this or accept that or nothing. This means go into the 5D for ascension and growth to see beyond the illusion. And the illusion here is belief in the 3D of what they said, didn't do, or did do, or how they lied, or what you needed them to be or do. That's not surrender. That's I'm in the 3D believing the dream. And so we got to get out of the dream. But the dream character cannot wake itself up. So if we're having the dream in the dream, that character, who you are, can't say, no, I want to wake up. Because the dream character doesn't wake up. It's us who wakes up. And we see that we were just dreaming. Okay, I hope this makes sense. And so if we had an experience, that's the dream character. The higher self can have the wake up and can see through that dream, that story, that dream character, and everything that's happened. Because that's a higher state of consciousness. And so this is what Spirit is talking about here. Okay, it's talking about a higher state of consciousness, which connects to the intuition. In order for there to be a union, which I do feel is like a twin flame soulful union, that's very faded here. But we need to find closure in the what's happened, what they did and did not do, and get out of this 3D through a process of surrender. Okay, so beautiful angels, we're going to do an extended reading, and I will have it available through the membership program through YouTube, but I also feel I will have it available for purchase, okay, for a limited time for those of you guys who don't want to join the membership. I'll put the information and link below, and what we'll look at is what's going to happen next. What will this person do, or what will happen next energetically, shifting in this connection. Okay, if you resonated with this. And like I mentioned, this jewelry is available at prairievintagejewelry.com, and I do have the promotion going on right now, Sunshine 35. If you enter in SUNSHINE 35 at the checkout, you'll save 35% off all private readings, the extended readings, jewelry, till the end of March. Okay, I'll put all that information below. And I love you guys very much. If you're drawn to another pile, I will see you there. All right, bye-bye. Hello, pile number 3. You guys picked this beautiful Art Deco curly plastic bead necklace. Okay, and this is available for purchase at prairievintagejewelry.com. I'll put the link below for this and all other jewelry. And right now there is a special, save 35% off till the end of March on all jewelry and private readings, including the extended reading, which I will be doing for this video. So you type in Sunshine 35 at the checkout, SUNSHINE 35 to save 35% off from now till the end of March. All right, and the extended reading will be looking at what's going to happen next here with this connection, if you resonate with this reading. All right, in this reading, we're looking at what you need to know about this spiritual connection between you and the person you came here about. Now, these spiritual journeys are all about self, and so we might hear a lot about ourselves. Okay, and if that's the case, it's not my intention, but we can apply it to the person, you can apply it to yourself, you can apply it to the journey. You apply the energy as you see fit. I'm going to read the energy. Okay, and I will be doing a Celtic cross, and we're asking Spirit for what you need to know about this soul connection. And I'll be calling it a twin flame journey, but you can call it whatever you want. Okay, high level soulmate, a spiritual connection, or whatever this is for you. Label doesn't quite matter, but if you do resonate with this reading, then this reading was for you. Spirit, for pile number 3, the journey they're on, the person they came here about. What is it that pile 3 needs to know right here, right now about this journey and the person? So I have King of Swords and the 9 of Wands. Like I said, I will be doing the Celtic cross here, revealing itself. So we have the Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Oops, one fell. And it fell like this. So I'll put it like that. All right. For pile number 3, what do they need to know about this journey and this connection with the person that they came here about? Clear and concise message. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3, Spirit. Thank you so much. All right. So let's pull your oracle cards as well before I begin to channel. Gut feeling. She's holding up the Moon card in the tarot. And the Lovers is here. Gemini, Cancer, and some Pisces energy coming through. For pile number 3, Spirit, what is it that pile 3 needs to know about this journey, about the person they came here about? What do they need to know in advance? Earlier than expected, got ahead, proceed early, prematurely, before the hour. I'm getting a lot of this gut feeling, like an understanding. Something. Okay, so the number 10 and 1, we have Aquarius and Gemini, Virgo energy. And one more for pile number 3. What do they need to know? All right. Let's take a look. We have journey. Interesting. And then we have the 3rd, unknown sweetheart, couples intruder, the other lover, the outsider, mistress, lover, the official spouse, type 7 enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. The number 7, Cancer energy, and the heart chakra. Okay, and then we have good news. 85 and 4, pleasant announcement, encouraging message, open dialogue, healthy talk, positive information, joyful communication. Type 4, the individualist, emotional center between lack and abundance, with happy event. With the purple here, which is the spiritual chakras. Interesting. And then we have 90 and 9, forgiveness, admitting fault, act of mercy, clemency, apologies, gracefulness, and reconciliation. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself, with happy event. 2 happy events here. Solar plexus energy. All right, let's take a look. Bottom of the deck, we have the 2 of Swords. I won't read the bottom of the deck in reverse. And then the 4 of Pentacles in reverse here. 2 swords. All right. And like I said, oh, I thought this was the King of Swords. I'm sorry. Knight of Swords covered by the 9 of Wands. Yes. Okay. And then we have 6 of Cups in the reverse. In the sideways position here, we have the 9 of Cups in the past position. And then crowning, we have the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse and Judgment. All right. And then we have the 8 of Wands and the 3 of Cups. All right. See self, we have 7 of Cups in reverse. And sees environment, we have the Page of Swords in reverse. Hopes and fears, we have the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. And we also have the 3 of Wands as an outcome here in the reverse. Interesting. Okay, outcome never to be taken literally. It's the energy as it's sitting here. And I will be reading this message for you. Just let me tap into this energy. Okay, beautiful angel, gorgeous angel. The other two piles seem very high level, so you could resonate with one of those being your story for the journey. Okay, not your specific personal you, but with you and your person, because those seem to be a mixture. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But this one seems to be more surface, okay? Or like at least it's not the high level journey so much as it is what's happening. This one seems to be what's happening in the connection. Okay, the other ones obviously were events as well, but it's not as like event filled. I hope that makes sense. My goodness. Okay, so let me just get into the reading here. For signs, we have Aries, Virgo, and Gemini, and Scorpio, Cancer, and I don't know if I said Pisces, okay? But for sure. Okay, so I feel like for this group, there's a reconciliation on the table here. And I'm not quite sure what this person chose, but it wasn't this connection. And that's what it's showing here. And so I feel like this person, for some of you guys, that could be a third party. Okay, I do see the Three of Cups and we see the third here. But third party in this reading here doesn't necessarily mean it's a third, like a relationship that this person was in. I feel like this person chose something, or like you felt like the outsider is really what it seems like. And I think that you know that there is something very deep going on here. Obviously, you're at this reading, okay, and you're absolutely right. Spirit is talking about you're on a journey here of experience with a person, and it could be on again, off again, or it could be something that hasn't quite finished yet, and you just know that it hasn't finished yet. And so if you're not in a separation with this person, because for some of you guys, you might still be talking, but it doesn't feel like this person is choosing you. And you know that there's something here. And you're already on this path. It's like, you know, I feel like there's something very intuitive about you and this understanding, and Spirit is guiding you and saying, yes, you're on this path. Confirmation. Take this reading as confirmation. It's going somewhere. Okay, and I don't give false hopes to anyone, but this is about a truth of where you're headed, and you're experiencing what you need to experience here. And I do feel like whatever happened up until now, this person hasn't fully jumped in 2 feet, and you feel like you've been trying to, or just feel like the outsider, like the third person, or the person that this person hasn't chose just yet or fully committed to just yet. It's like, will this person choose me? Will they make me official? Will they do this, you know? And I do feel like you already know and understand that it's not over, or that there's more to this story. And so maybe what you're here and what you're needing to know, as Spirit is saying, is that there is going to be a coming together here. And so if there's a no contact for a lot of you guys, there's a reconciliation. There's going to be a forgiveness. Of course, if you don't want to forgive someone, you don't have to, then this most likely is not your reading. And if you haven't reached the state of forgiveness, then Spirit is saying, until you reach a state of forgiveness and come out of the solar plexus, which is all egoically driven, I was right, you were wrong, you did this and you did that, and we come into the heart, then it'll allow this truth to come out for this person to align themselves with this spiritual connection in order for them to make themselves available. And so I do feel like there's going to be a new beginning here for you and this person. And I do feel like if you're waiting for this person to come forward, I do feel like they will. I don't feel like you're having to do anything. I feel like you are guided by Spirit. I feel you already know this. Okay, like just follow Spirit. As Spirit is saying to allow yourself to flow with the intuition, and anything that you are seeing and experiencing with the intuition, to believe it. Okay, and to keep the dialogue between you and Spirit open. Do not get frustrated. And do not sort of give in to the egoic thought stories, because I do feel like you might have, for some of you guys, you might still be a little bit confused depending where you're at in this journey. And why is there confusion? Is because there's a lot that is intuitively guided here that isn't quite announced just yet. Okay, like not formal, not communicated. It's all sort of still in the ethers having to manifest itself. So I feel like there's navigating with the intuition, and there's a lot of confusion, because the confusion here is created by the person that you're involved with, which is this most of the spread here. What's going on with this person? I feel like this person is somebody here who might have been very much defensive. This could have been somebody here who is just blocking you out and not paying attention to what's in front of them. Not because they did not like you, but there could be a lot of fears. There could have been a lot of uncertainty. There could have been just a lot of defensiveness and guardedness to protect themselves. I do feel like this person does seem like somebody who would confront certain things, but I feel like when it comes to confronting what they were needing to here, no one needs to do anything, but like what they're being called to look at, they've been avoiding or delaying or pausing, I do feel like it almost seems like this person hasn't been investing emotions and feeling into you and this connection. And I do feel like what Spirit is talking about is because this person's experience of the past with this Six of Cups has been one that's created their reality, their defensiveness, their avoidance, or their guardedness, or their inability to express themselves. So it could have been something in childhood they're needing to overcome. But I also feel there's a soul contract here from a past life or a past experience here that they're having to deal with, to overcome anything here which got stuck energetically, fragmented, or overcome avoidance or whatever it is that they have challenging them. And I do feel like this person is learning through exposure in this connection, because I do feel like you make this person very, very happy. I also feel like this person could be a little bit self-focused, and this is their way of protecting themselves. Because when they allow themselves to be open and let someone else take the reins, they could expose themselves to being let down, disappointed, abandoned. This person could have certainly experienced abandonment, gone through divorce, or divorced from their parents, or just abandonment wounds, or fear of abandonment, whatever this is. It's created this sort of edge about them. And so I do feel like this person could be somebody who is very self-focused, but I feel it does shift, and I don't know where you're at in this connection. And so what you're needing to know is it does shift, and it will shift. And I think you have a strong intuition here about the truth about this person. And I feel like this person could have been humming and hawing for quite some time, stuck for quite some time, and there was a need for them to not be held back and not be stuck in their world, because I do feel like this person was holding their emotions back from you. And they were too held back, but also very much like guarding their own energy for themselves in some way, because it was like, if I don't do this, then I'm not protected here and I'm vulnerable and I could be taken advantage of. And so I feel like what Spirit is talking about, this whole journey for this person is one about realizing the truth of themselves. And this would require them to follow the divine, just like you. So this is a mirrored thing here, because I do feel like you're being guided, and you could certainly be guiding this person, which I do feel for a lot of you guys energetically. I do feel like this person feels your energy as a guide of sorts. And I do feel like this person does feel very blessed by your energy. I also feel like there could have been an awakening, a catalyzation of this person by being introduced to this connection and to you of what their truth is. And so I don't know how long they've been, like I said, resisting or fighting, but I also feel like this person is someone who isn't going to give up on this connection. This is somebody who would fight for this connection, whether they're seeming as though, but I feel like it's on their terms in some way, because this is the whole lesson of sorts. It's like, how do they surrender to vulnerability? And they're trying to control narrative in some way here. And I do feel like it could have come to a point where nothing could have manifested in the 3D between you and this person as a result of them being too controlling and holding back their emotions and not giving and investing in this connection, because I don't feel like they've invested in this connection because they were too held back and too stuck in their sort of comfort zone of safety. But this does shift. And this does require this person to be honest with themselves and to see a great truth, which happens over time as you continue to follow Spirit. And so there's something this person is being called to communicate with you that I don't feel has come out just yet, that they're being called to deliver, that will allow there to be movement in this connection. And I do feel like this person if you're not in contact, they will communicate with you because there is a reconciliation forward or a coming together here for sure. Okay. And I feel like the biggest challenge here is, how do we take the next step? So I do feel like I mentioned the extended here is going to be what's going to happen next. And hopefully we could see like, where's this going to go? Because I feel like the biggest hang up, what you're needing to know is like, this connection feels like it's not, like there's no path to which it's going to grow. Like, you know that there's more here. You know that there's a place where it should go. And you know that there's like a feeling, and there goes my email, a feeling here that you're not an outsider here and that there is a coming together, but it's like, where's it going to go? Because it's been stuck. How is it going to move forward? How will this person sort of invest here? I feel like this person hasn't yet formally committed to you. And I feel like this might be a strong sort of bone of contention, because I feel like you want to build something in the 3D. You want some sort of formal commitment. You want to build, you know, a family or a home or like something in the 3D. And I feel like this person has been avoidant of commitment and avoidant of the build. And I do feel like at some point in time, and you could be in the state right now of confusion. Okay, but I feel like for some of you guys, there's this intuitive gut knowing, but it's the confusion because in the 3D, it's not aligned. It's like in the 3D, they're doing one thing or saying another. We're apart or we're separated, or they're still not choosing me or still not formalized. And so I don't know. And I don't know because they keep coming back with an indecision or a stalemate, or they don't know, or they don't choose. And so they were keeping this connection open-ended for some time. And I feel like this was their coping mechanism, you know? It's like, I have too much anxieties or fears or confusion about being direct and investing in this connection as a result of what's happened to me in childhood or in my subconscious, which I'm needing to heal in order for me to be comfortable to commit, in order for me to move this forward. And so the truth about this connection and what you're needing to know is that they have to come to this realization that they're stagnant and at a stalemate until they overcome and heal the thing in which is creating this need to sort of protect oneself. But because they're confronted with this desire to fight for this connection, because they do feel called and they feel very blessed by your energy, and they do feel the pull, because I feel for a lot of you guys, when you are on the path of moving forward, this connection moves. When you're stagnant and looking sort of towards a connection, this confusion remains. And so Spirit is saying, stay ahead. Okay, this doesn't mean attached outcome, but stay ahead, meaning don't get stuck with this person and where they're at and what it's not doing, but stay ahead as to what you can do, where you can go, what you can focus on, and intuitively know that there's more here, and what is not clear will be clear. And I do feel like you very strongly are on this very destined path with this person, a lover's path of choosing this connection, both of you guys consciously, when you guys overcome and see what you're needing to see and understand what you need to know and understand. And since we're only really reading about this person, okay, you will know what you're needing to see and understand here. But I feel like most of these connections are pretty common, where it's get out of the ego. Okay, learn forgiveness, acceptance, learn to listen to unconditional love of the heart. And also there's this balance that we need to have in order for us to not cling and not attach and still move forward, but not create resistance. Okay, especially if you feel we're not being chosen, or we feel we're not valued, or we feel like we're the third party, or whatever this is. And it's like, that's an illusion that we would ever feel superior or inferior, because we're not inferior and we're already connected. And so there is no separation. And so there's a need to overcome and really dive into this part, because I feel it's very, very spiritual. And it's like really listening to the intuition, not giving into the fear story, because the fear story comes from the ego, need for control. Okay, when we really feed the story of the ego, it's like we have a lot of fear of letting go, or we might start to do and say certain things because we want the control and we want an outcome. And so surrender is trusting in the divine and allowing the intuition sort of to guide, and things will become clear. But I feel like you're really, really sort of on this path to get there, to the other side. Okay, and so there's certain things that we'd have to like sort of part with here with this 7 energy with the Tower, which is the false or the unsustainable things must fall away, like the egoic stories and understandings. okay, in order for us to be available. And so this is having an open heart full of grace, compassion, forgiveness, okay, and unconditional love, of course, because that's what these twin flame journeys are about. So, but back to your person's understanding here, there is the subconscious wounding of past experience that has created this defensive version of this person who might be very self sort of absorbed, or has been really sort of thinking that they know what is best for them, and at all costs they sort of protect this thing, but it doesn't allow for a manifestation of what they truly want here. And so it created a whole lot of stalemate or indecision or confusion or open-ended thing that doesn't allow them to commit and build and create a pathway forward, which isn't obviously enough for you to squander your energy somehow. Okay, so I feel like there will be a breakthrough. There will be movement here with this person. Of course, the extended will show where this is sort of going, but I feel like the biggest hang up here is, how can we build a future? How can we move this forward? And will this person ever be clear enough and commit to this? And when will this be understood and shown to me through a way of words, potentially? Maybe this person's never expressed the truth, you know, the full depths of the truth. And that's what's coming out, is like, what's their truth? Okay, but I feel like you already know that there's something deep here, and you would be right. But the hanging on or the holding back protective way is really where this person has been more sort of feeding, as opposed to feeding the growth and the movement here. And so Spirit is giving some guidance here for you to say, keep following Spirit. This person is definitely guided by your guidance here. Okay, not that they're below you, but it's like your guidance of movement, your ability to trust in the divine and trust in this journey and keep moving forward. And allow yourself to sort of not give into the fear, like I said, because sometimes the ego will create story that seem very real, and it creates fear. And so we start to act as if, and that can slow things down. And so Spirit is saying the intuition will know the truth, but we have to get silent enough and see beyond the fears in order to stay steady on the path to get to the other side here. And so we're having to stay ahead of this sort of stuck energy before we sort of fall back into it. Okay, and that you will be shown the truth, and that, again, if there is a separation, this person is definitely going to be coming forward here with a desire to reconcile. Okay, for some of you guys, this is coming through in the card layout. I don't think I mentioned it, though. It could be somebody you were already connected to, like maybe someone you were already married to, or like somebody you had a relationship with and then they fell away, you know? Like an old lover or a past person. And it's like, we don't know, you know, it's like, I've been moving forward, I've been moving on. Is this person ever going to come back? Will they? And the answer is yes. And it could be that they just made the wrong decision. Now, there's no such thing as wrong. There's just life lessons. And so what this person did choose was some other lesson of sorts, and they must play that out. Okay, and so things must play out in order for them to reach a certain state here. And I do feel like there's something about wanting some form of officialness here, or some clarity about coming out of you know, like not being chosen, or like, I don't know, like making it official, making it certain, making it clear, announcing something, formalizing something. And I feel like this is what this person is having to reconcile in order for them to manifest this connection. Because I feel this is what they want, but they have to go through the process of not getting fulfilled and feeling the energy of the stuckness here and the non-growth or the non-movement, and saying, well, I have to admit certain truths. I have to be pointed. I have to clarify certain things. I have to be direct. So I feel like there's a need for this person to be direct with you, to communicate things with you, and to move this forward from where they're at. And I do feel like maybe there was a lot of arguments or challenge about this person's inability to show affection or be affectionate or give you emotional presence. You know, it feels very dry, and it also feels like this person could have been very like hurtful to you. You know, maybe they were so self-absorbed or so concerned with themselves or fulfilling themselves, doing whatever in a way here that you felt like they were selfish or they didn't consider you. Okay, but again, this is a coping mechanism, and defending this energy for them is like a protective way. And this is how they might have thought that they could fulfill themselves in some regard, but is a misconception of this trauma or this experience that they had. Okay, but I do feel expect a message from this person. And I do feel like this person does want some form of peace. And I do feel like there is something about, yeah, like they're very defensive. I don't feel like they share their thoughts a lot with you. And I feel like this person hasn't been honest with you, you know, but it doesn't mean that they are straight up telling you a whole bunch of lies, but it's like honest about how do they feel? What do they want? You know, it's very held back here. Even their own thoughts, like thoughts about where is this going to go? Do they want a further build here with you? But the truth of this person is like they want peace. They feel very blessed by you. They are also guided by this connection. They are learning to drop their defensiveness here. They're having to understand, what does a manifestation look like? They're having to feel like they can let you in and belong and celebrate this connection. Despite abandonment wounds here, because I do feel like this could be experienced on both sides. Okay, abandonment wounds. I'm seeing a lot of red here, which is giving me the devilly energy, which is, you know, something in the subconscious here in regards to feeling abandoned, maybe as a child. Okay, and sometimes we develop an avoidant energy about this, and sometimes we develop like an anxious attachment. So it really depends on what we're trying to overcome here. But I feel like with this is giving me like a 6 swords energy. There's a boat moving away from swords, okay, like moving away from strife. And as we heal the abandonment wound, as we heal the toxic way of engagement that has been protecting us, so we thought, but keeping people out, I feel like you learn about, if the other person is sort of your energy, about how to cope and move forward with maybe your own abandonment wounds. How do we work together to get out of this state? And I feel like this is where this connection is slowly moving out of challenge into calmer waters. And I do feel like it's going to get very, very calm here, okay? But there has been periods of confusion and lack of clarity and stalemate and all sorts of things. I need to be direct and understand. And the only way we can really understand is to go through the experience. It doesn't just fall in our lap, you know? Even though the intuition is there trying to guide us, it's like Spirit is saying, the guidance is to go through the experience. So all will be seen and understood through the experience. And we have to see through the false, and we have to feel through the heart. We have to see through the ego and the illusion. And we have to make the conscious choice to forgive. We have to make the conscious choice to show up with grace and compassion, okay? Not listen to the fear. And if we don't see what we're wanting to see, it doesn't mean it's not there, because intuitively there could be something, again, in the spiritual realms that's very, very much true, that needs to manifest still, because the 3D manifestation is the last thing that takes place, but it's still available in the ethers, and it needs to get manifested and cultivated. And so not to get too hung up on what you see or what you hear or what you understand with the mind, because that's the tricky part. That's the part that creates the fear. And so your journey, I feel, is seeing beyond the fear, working beyond just the senses, connecting to the spiritual. Okay, so a lot of you guys might have had like a spiritual awakening. You might have just been propelled into like 5D. There could be an awakening to the divine in a way that you've never experienced before. You could be seeing a lot of sign symbol synchronicities in this experience with this person. Okay, and definitely one about working through the ego. So yes, for the extended, we're going to look at where is this headed? What's happening next here? Okay. And like I said, I will offer this through the membership program for YouTube. I'll put the information below. And if you're not able to join us there, then I will most likely put a link here to the extended for purchase on my website. But please keep in mind that there is a 35% off. You can enter in Sunshine35, SUNSHINE 35 to save 35% off all extendeds and private readings, and of course the jewelry on my website until the end of March. Okay, so beautiful angels, if you're called to another pile, I will see you there. I love you very much, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye.